Now, what is the network method? So here you have to create connections, networks. For example, I would say first you will have the components of the activities and project activities. Suppose again, I would say the installing chimney or maybe installing the project or maybe creating the drilling machines or the holes in the land surface. So all that impact would be or the activities would be there. So this is the first activity here you can see of the activity section. This is the second activity. This is the third activity. Then their primary impacts would be written there. Primary impacts on the environment here, primary impacts on the environment here, primary. Then we have to write down the secondary impacts. All these are connected with the help of these networks you can see. So that's why this method is called as the network method. And then after the impact, secondary impacts, what would be the total tertiary impacts or indirect impacts? So that you have to write down in the tertiary impacts. So such kind of conceptual networks are created here, which will help you to understand effect of that particular thing. So this method uses the matrix approach and extends it to include both the primary as well as the secondary impacts. It is shown in the form of a tree. You can see it is a kind of tree. This is arranged like this. This can be arranged like this as well, vertically. So that is also possible. So this diagram is also called as reference or sequence diagram. And it is a time consuming method. It shows the cause condition effect. So this one is important. The words you can remember here. The previous one, the matrices, shows the cause effect relationship, while now we are coming to the network method. This is cause condition effect, not the cause effect relationship. So these things are important, small things. They can be asked in the examination, and in the option both will be there, and they will ask you about the network or maybe matrices. You have to select carefully the correct one. So revise it or remember it very carefully. Do not make any mistake here. So this was all about the EIA. EIA is completed now. Environmental impact assessment is completed now. Now we have to discuss the next portion of this particular unit, that is loss acts in environment globally as well as in our country. So here we will discuss the loss acts in the environment after this particular section. So I hope the EIA is very clear to you, and you can find out questions from the EIA in the catalyst book, solve them, and then your EIA would be completed then. Now I'm starting the loss and acts in the environment. So let's talk about the Indian Constitution. So in the Indian Constitution, there are total 470 articles and 12 schedules. This number is not generally asked, but again, I have included here in the case of laws and legislations, because in laws and the legislations, the main thing we have is the Constitution. Whatever is written in the Constitution, we have to follow it as a law. So here in Indian Constitution, if I look at total, there are 470 articles and there are total 12 schedules. And here are the name of the articles, number of the articles that is written in the schedule number 7 after the 42nd amendment of the Constitution in the year 1976. And these all three articles which are written under the schedule 7 and which was added in the 42nd amendment of 1976 was related to the environment. So that's why the number of articles I have included here. Out of this 470 articles, 3 articles for the environmental, you can say. So here we have to discuss the Article 48A, Article 51A, and Article 21. One by one, we will discuss these articles. So the very first article that we have to discuss here is the Article 48A, which tells that directive principle of the state policy. And under this particular article, it is written that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife for the country. So this is what written in Article 48A, which was written in the year of 1976 in the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution. So this article was introduced in the Schedule 7. And this is telling that all the state here means not the actual state. The state here means government. The government have the power to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife. That is written in Article 48A. Then we have the Article 51A. which is telling the fundamental duties of the human beings or ourselves. And here in this particular article, it is written that to protect and improve the natural, including nature, including the forest, lake, river, wildlife, and to have compassion for the living creatures. It means you should have kindness, humbleness, or a kind of a duty, your duty towards the all these things like forest, lake, river, and all the wildlife things. So this is what written in the Article 51A. The amendment also introduced changes in the seventh schedule of the Constitution, and that is in the forest and wildlife transfer from state list to the concurrent list. So there's one thing was changed in the seventh schedule after introduction of these articles. It means forest and wildlife are transferred to the space list to the concurrent list. So that one thing also you have to remember. So this is what about the articles in the Indian Constitution. The concurrent list meaning here it includes the power to be considered by both center and the state government. It means the power is not only to the central government, that power is also transferred to the state government. The state will be also responsible for the safeguard of forest and the forest life. So that is what is the meaning of the concurrent list. Then we have the Article 21. Article 21 says that protection of life and personal liberty. So no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by the law. So this is written in the Article 21A. Then a right to healthy environment is also under this Article 21. This is one of the fundamental right given by the Indian Constitution to all the peoples under the country. So here that is right to healthy environment. So all these three articles and right to healthy environment in the Constitution about the environment that you have to remember. So what they can ask you, they can ask you about the article number and they can provide you this particular thing in the option. So you have to select that. So remember it carefully from all the sections, all the three articles. The very first type of act we have to discuss here under this particular chapter, that is the National Green Tribunal Act of 2010, which is also called as NGT in the short form. So under the Article 21, which ensure that every citizen of India has right to a healthy environment. So that is under the Article 21. So this NGT was created for that in the year of 2010. And this is a constitutional body for the environment protection. NGT is established for the effective expeditious disposal cases related to the environment protection, conservation of forest, and other rights related to the environment and giving relief and compensation for damage to person and property for matter collected within. So this is not a kind of regulatory body. NGT is a kind of judiciary body, you can say, which is established due to disposal of the cases which are related to the environment, maybe compensation of environment, damage to the environment, harm to the environment. All these cases which are for the environment are governed under this NGT, National Green Tribunal Act of 2010. An NGT body govern that. It is a specialized body with the necessary expertise to handle environmental disputes. So this is what the National Green Tribunal Act is.